So, I just watched Minions Rise of Gru, and this is my honest review on it. So, basically, if you've been on the internet for even 2 seconds, you would know that everyone's buying tickets to see Minions Rise of Gru. And there's one reason only. Because it's Minions. Now, the thing about the Minions franchise and Illumination is known for making terrible movies. And I'm not even kidding. If you look up what is Illumination known for, Illumination is known for making terrible movies and making the Minions movies. If you were to read the problem with Illumination Entertainment on rotoscopers, it would basically say, no. Basically, the only 2 good movies they've ever released is Despicable Me 1 and Despicable Me 2. And then Despicable Me kinda wasn't, it was the Cars 2 of the Minions franchise. So when they announced a new Minions movie, Minions 2, Rise of Gru, which the original Minions movie was the Minions movie, so Despicable Me 2 and Minions were my 2 favorite Minions movies of all time. So when, of course, they announced Minions 2 Rise of Gru, everyone was going insane about it. And the Minions Rise of Gru meme kind of started off like the Morbius meme. So if we were to just look it up, the Morbius meme is where basically people were going to say they were going to go see Morbius, and that Morbius is the best movie ever, when no one really went to go watch it since it was a terrible movie. As this was turning into the next Morbius meme, it was also becoming the next Sonic the Hedgehog 2 meme, because people were actually buying tickets to it and people were actually enjoying it. Like, if you were to go onto Rotten Tomatoes for Minions Rise of Gru, it is one of the highest rated Minions movies. And I watched it. And I just gotta say, this was a great movie. I'm not kidding. This is one of Illumination's best movies. I have to say it right there and now. It is a really funny movie. It'll definitely get a laugh out of you, maybe a few laughs. And not only is it just a great movie, the storyline telling is really, really great. When I'm talking about the storyline telling, I'm talking about how they tell the storyline and how they build up the storyline over time. So this is kind of with it like the Spider-Man trilogy, where they were building up the storyline to get to the multiverse. Spider-Man No Way Home, so we had Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. They were all great movies, and that's because they were building up the storyline to each and every movie. Homecoming then and there led into Far From Home. Far From Home led right then and there to No Way Home. No Way Home led right then and there to Multiverse Madness, which WandaVision also led right into Multiverse Madness. It's kind of the same thing with the MCU. They do the storyline telling thing that a lot of people do, but they just do it better. There's a way to do storyline telling, and the MCU perfects that. Minions, Illumination, the Illumination Minions movies, don't really perfect that good. Because the only prequel we've ever gotten was the one Minions movie, and yes, although it did tell a pretty good storyline on how Gru met the Minions, it was only Kevin, Bob, and Stuart. It doesn't really give a huge storyline on how he met the rest of the Minions. While Minions Rise of Gru kind of gives a better storyline, where he was originally going to hire the Minions, but he just wanted to, let the Minions escape from the hellhole they were going through. but he didn't actually recruit them. And then the minions brought over other minions, blah blah blah. That's how he recruited the other minions. And it also built it up into his friendship with Dr. Nefario and his basically friendship with the minions, and how the minions became such a powerful thing, and how he became a pretty powerful villain, and how he met Vector. And also, this is another rare case, because with Minions Rise of Gru, it seems like the critics and audience are actually agreeing on something. When I say that the critics and audience are agreeing on something, just take a look at the numbers. This are the numbers for Minions Rise of Gru. As you can see, it's like pretty high. Now here's 3 examples of the critics and audience not agreeing on something. Which, that is a lot of examples. And the reason why there's so many examples that I could even do my examples, they weren't even hard to find. Any movie with a low critic score, most likely has a high audience score. And most movies with a low audience score mostly has a high critic score. So it's kind of just hard to not find a movie. It's kind of just hard to not find a movie where the critics and audience don't agree on something. It's pretty hard to find a movie where the critics and audience actually do agree on something. Yet it's not hard to find one where they don't. Basically, it is pretty hard to find a movie where the critics and audience agree on something. Here's some examples where the critics and audience actually agreed on something. And most of these movies, I feel like we can all agree are good movies. And I seriously, when I say this, I could not find any of my examples in those examples. And Minions Rise of Gru only came out yesterday, so I feel like there is my potential for it to get my popularity. And well, of course, the tomato meter and the audience score might plummet, or they might increase. But my opinion on this movie is a really great movie. And there's not even much difference between the all critics and top critics. So there's not very much difference between the all critics and top critics. And there's like no difference between verified audience and all audience. This movie, I feel like, was one of Illumination's best movies. Because let's just say if we were to go look at Despicable Me's critic score versus the audience score, this is it. And that is pretty high. Now, anything above 75 on the tomato meter is considered certified fresh. It's 72 right now on the tomato meter. So it could get to 75 and be certified fresh. But the only other example of an Illumination movie having that high of a tomato meter and an audience score and them actually agreeing on something was Sing 1, Sing 2, and Despicable Me 2. Now, my honest review is it is one of, if not, Illumination's best movie out there. I love the storyline. Otto was one of the best. But King Bob was better. King Bob! Would I recommend you go watch Minions Rise of Gru? 100%. Minions Rise of Gru is not just a kids movie, it is an everyone movie. Literally any type of audience could enjoy Minions Rise of Gru, from kids to teenagers to adults to the elderly. Anybody can enjoy Minions Rise of Gru. Minions Rise of Gru, I'd give Minions Rise of Gru a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, 1 million out of 1 million, whatever you want to count it for. But let's talk about the way they advertise this movie. Because they advertise this movie in a very special way, and I like it. First off, it is known as the longest advertised movie ever. It is one of, if not the most longest advertised movie ever. From 2 years from when the first trailer released to when it actually released. There's a 2-year gap between those. And when it was announced in production, it was announced in production of July 2017. Exactly 4 years ago. Close to 5. Actually, no, it was 5 years. So yeah, it was announced in production 5 years ago. So it took them 5 years to finish this movie. And this movie took really, really long to make. And I respect that, since it was a really, really great movie. And it is really close to 100% audience score. People are really enjoying this movie, and I really recommend you guys go see it. And if you guys do see it, leave in the comment section down below if YouTube actually enables comments on this video. Which they never do. Leave in the comment section down below what you thought of the movie. Do you think it was good? Do you think it was garbage? Do you think it was awesome? And also the late 70s to early 80s setting of this movie is just really good. This movie is just overall really good. Like, it is just a good movie. See you guys later. Goodbye.